The F1 calendar is an ever-evolving monster, with new tracks joining as old ones leave. In recent years, the turnover has increased as big money deals with Arabian states and cities around the world have tempted Formula One to bring incredible motor racing to their tracks, at the expense of the more traditional European circuits, which have hosted F1 throughout its history. With a number of contracts up for renewal at the end of 2025, major circuits, cities, and promoters around the world are considering their chances of joining the Formula One calendar. Today, I'll check out two countries in particular that are preparing big money bids to bring Formula One to their shores in the very near future, so don't go anywhere. Formula One is changing, or has changed. At the start of 2017, Liberty Media bought the Formula One business, gaining control of everything in the sport apart from the rulebook, which the FIA still manages. As with all businesses, when there's a new owner or boss, things change. Formula One has exploded in popularity thanks in part to Liberty Media. Their marketing of the sport brought Netflix and Drive to Survive on board. They've also tempted new teams and manufacturers to the sport, and as Formula One has grown, so has the interest in hosting races. Hosting an F1 race is worth millions in tourism income to the cities or countries that host races. It can also be profitable for some of the traditional racing courses, though making money off F1 is far harder for a circuit than it is for a country or city. For many of the cities and countries that have recently hosted Formula One races, it isn't actually about making the money for the host though. Governments and cities invest huge amounts of money into the race, which they then see returned in tourism earnings for local businesses during the race weekend, and hosting an F1 race is also a great advertisement for the city or country, bringing in money through tourism all year round. A traditional F1 circuit, such as Spa or Imola or Silverstone, will make their money through ticket sales. So while the cities and some countries which host races can throw money at Liberty Media to secure the right to host a race, the traditional circuits can't, as they can't operate at a loss. The owners of Silverstone, for example, maintain and run the track as a business, and if they have to pay tens upon tens of millions to host a race, then they'll make a loss on the event, something which simply isn't an option for them. At the end of 2025, two such circuits will be coming to the end of their contracts. The Belgian Grand Prix held at Spa-Francorchamps and the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix held at Imola do not have contracts to continue hosting their respective races past 2025. Now, that doesn't mean they won't be on the calendar past 2025, it just means that negotiations need to happen. For Spa, the future looks bright, with Formula One impressed by the most recent race and the investments made into the circuit and the new grandstand. The main negotiation point will be the price that F1 demands from the circuit owners to host the race. At the moment, they're thought to be paying around $22 million a year to host a race, but many of the newer additions to the calendar are paying upwards of $40 million a year, a number that Spa won't be able to match. They simply cannot make that much money from hosting an F1 race. For Imola, the future is less clear. Quotes from F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali have hinted at the idea of alternating between Imola and Monza on a yearly basis. Monza has a contract until 2031 at the moment though. Mexico City is also coming to the end of its contract, and negotiations will have to happen this year if they're to keep their spot on the F1 calendar beyond 2025. Then, in 2026, when the new regulations begin, there are a number of races whose contracts are coming to an end. The Dutch Grand Prix held at Zandvoort will feature on the calendar for a final time in 2026, with the circuit keen to bow out while it's still making money from the races. The estimated $32 million they were paying each year to host a race was already a stretch for them. The Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona could be at risk as well, especially with the Madrid Grand Prix starting from 2026 onwards. The US Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas also needs a new deal, as does one of F1's biggest payers, Baku. For every track at risk of losing its spot on the calendar, whether by choice or not, there is always another eager to replace them. Talk of Formula One returning to Africa has been increasing over the past decade. Both Morocco and South Africa have previously held Formula One Grand Prix, with the last one being held at Kyalami in 1993. Now, with a large number of F1 contracts up for renewal, two countries are aiming to claim a spot on the F1 calendar in coming years and return Formula One to the African continent. The first of those is South Africa. Efforts to tempt Formula One to the country have ramped up significantly recently. The formation of a Bid Steering Committee, or BSC, was announced by the Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Gaten McKenzie just before Christmas at a press event held at the Kyalami circuit. He explained there are 3 potential locations being looked at for a return to the country. Kyalami, near Johannesburg, which hosted the South African Grand Prix 21 times, is looking at returning to the calendar by making the necessary upgrades to bring the circuit up to FIA Grade 1 status, with the track currently sitting at Grade 2 listing. For a long time, Kyalami was thought to be the only serious potential site, but the BSC are apparently weighing up 3 options for their official bid for an F1 race. The Fakisa Raceway in Welcome is also being considered, and a third brand new circuit is a potential option. Plans to have the race close to Cape Town have now been resurrected, and there is talk of a brand new circuit being built north of the city. The Langa-Lethu South African Grand Prix bid group has stated that it has acquired a significant site on the west coast and is preparing to make a formal announcement of its plans shortly after the new year. The statement was very short on details, but the Langa-Lethu group has revealed that it will construct a Grade 1 FIA spec, state-of-the-art Grand Prix racetrack with the Table Mountain and Robben Island as a backdrop. That places the circuit a few kilometers north of Cape Town, close to Milnerton, in the vicinity of an industrial park. The location will have an advantage over Kyalami by being located close to the Cape Town International Airport and fed by main roads and public transport for easy access for the expected daily 100,000+ spectators. With no circuit currently present at the site, the investment required to host an F1 race would be in the hundreds of millions of dollars range, which would mean significant backing from some very big investors. It is possible that the city of Cape Town is committed to supplying a large amount of the money to the Langa-Lethu group to get the track built, but we'll have to wait for the official announcement to know more. South Africa isn't the only country upping their efforts to host an F1 race though, but before we talk about the other potential new host, if you're enjoying the content and want to catch some more daily F1 news, please give the video a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot! The 2024 F1 prize-giving ceremony was hosted in Rwanda this year just before Christmas, and the country used the ceremony as an opportunity to push their bid to host an F1 race in the very near future. Rwandan motorsport officials first held talks with F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali in September, with the sport targeting a return to the African continent. Speaking ahead of the FIA's end-of-season prize-giving gala in Kigali just before Christmas, the Rwandan president, Paul Kagame, confirmed that the East African country is looking to host a race. I'm happy to formally announce that Rwanda is bidding to bring the thrill of racing back to Africa by hosting a Formula 1 Grand Prix. A big thank you to Stefano Domenicali and the entire team at Formula 1 for the good progress in our discussions so far. I assure you that we are approaching this opportunity with seriousness and commitment which it deserves. Rwanda is looking at the prospect of building a permanent track near the planned Bugesera Airport just outside Kigali. Stefano Domenicali has spoken very positively about the Rwandan bid, and it shouldn't be a surprise to hear the plans confirmed for a race in the near future. But what do you think? Does a South African or Rwandan race excite you? Or is there somewhere else that you want to see on the calendar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to support the channel, then make sure to check out our merch store at f1reverse.com to get yourself some sweet F1-inspired gear. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.